Let's talk inflation and more specifically what they're not telling us about it. Because unless you're like me and kind of a dork and you're really getting into all this economic type stuff, you're completely going to miss what's actually going on, which I totally understand because the way it's portrayed, you're just not going to recognize certain words that are being used that illustrate something completely different than what you would think. What do I mean? Well, in my opinion, most people have heard of the cost of living crisis. We've noticed all around us, costs have gone up in various ways. So when you hear inflation and battling inflation and getting inflation under control, most people think, okay, good. So they're gonna fix this cost of living crisis. My life is gonna get better from this cost of living point of view. But that's not actually what the battle is about. The battle is not about cost per se. It's not about lowering cost. And as I'll show you here in just a little bit. So just understand that inflation and battling inflation is completely different than this whole problem when it comes to the cost of living. So let me build some context and then I'll show you exactly what I mean. So this article says inflation in the United States has tumbled from 9% all the way to 3%. The Federal Reserve's 2% target rate. Now right here you see that, wow, inflation has tumbled from 9% all the way to 3%, and the target is 2%. So okay, good. Things are getting close. Things are getting close to being taken control of, to being, under control, and the cost of living, okay, good. Things are gonna start to get better. But there's a key phrase in there that stands out and it illustrates what this difference is between inflation and then the cost of living crisis. And maybe you spotted it, but if you did not, price pressures. Price pressures. Now this is very important because notice, the Fed, all this is not going after prices. No, they're going after price pressures. That's it, not the price. Price pressures. So let's look a little bit deeper into this. So we need to consider a few things, and right here, this is what we're gonna call the price of things, right? So over here, we have this dynamic of the situation, which is representing prices, meaning the further up things go, the higher prices are. And then over here, we have what has essentially been going on and what everybody's concerned about. So let's think about this 9% number. Well, the 9% is illustrated by this right here. And the length of that line is what everybody cares about. What is this line showing us? It's showing us the price pressure of how prices have gone up. If they've gone up 9%, then there's 9% of pressure that has occurred. But then over time, something like this happens. So notice this line is not as long, and this line is all of a sudden, I'm just making this number up, but this number is all of a sudden 6%. So they would say, well, okay, that's good. That is good because what has happened? The price pressure has decreased by how much? I think you can probably do simple math. You're saying the price pressure has decreased by 3% because instead of being 9%, it is now 6%. But you notice what has happened? Well, if you correspond that over here, prices have still gone up, but now all of a sudden they're talking, well, we've made great progress because, well, price pressures have only gone up by this amount, 3%. So, I mean, look at the length of this line. The length of that line is smaller than this one, and it's even smaller than that 9% line. So inflation is getting under control. And then what are they ultimately saying where the target is? Well, the ultimate target is they want a line that's about that length at 2%. But you notice what's been going on. Nothing has been taken care of when it comes to, again, over here. All that has gone on is prices have continued to go higher and higher and higher. Yet all that the Federal Reserve, all that you see in the headlines, all they care about is the length of each of these lines. That's what they care about. They care about those pricing pressures. They do not care about the price itself. They're not talking about we got to bring prices back down. No, they just want pricing pressures to only increase at 2% instead of all these other intervals. So in other words, don't be looking for prices to go back down in any meaningful way because that's not the goal. The goal is not to bring those prices back to where they were 2 or 3 years ago. No, we just don't want those prices to increase as fast as what they are. We just want those pressures to get back down to 2%, which is pretty bonkers when they're still admitting, well, we still want costs to go up. We just want them to only go up at 2% as opposed to 3 or 5 or 9%. So, I mean, you got to factor that in and realize that if you're looking for all this to fix your cost of living problem, it's not going to happen. Sure, costs may go down here or there, but that is not the goal. That's not what they're trying to accomplish at all. And that's not what they're telling you. They make it sound like, okay, things are going to get better from the cost of living point of view. And no. Things just are not going to increase as fast as what they once were. That's what's actually going on here. So I hope this helps. Like I said, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but I mean, you got to just really understand what's going on out there when it comes to fighting inflation and hitting this target percentage. Is it's not what, like, I think a lot of people believe it to actually be. So if there's any questions on this or anything, like I said, I'm a total geek. I love to talk about this stuff. So questions, anything like that, put that down in the comment section. If you enjoy these kind of current event type videos, hit the like button. If you have any other topics, current events that you would like for me to talk about, again, leave those down in the comment section. And because I'm always reading and replying, and I promise to at least consider any sort of suggestions that you do have. But yeah, inflation, this is definitely what they're not telling us. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.